It was up Mysterious back in another video. Kind of had a haircut recently, so hair's looking a bit shorter. But I'm making this video about why do men actually care about body count? Like, why does it matter so much? Why is it a big deal? Why do people mention it on like podcasts and stuff and talk about it in the US? And what's the deal with it? If you're a girl and you're wondering why do guys care about it or why is it so important, like I'm just gonna explain it now because it is pretty much important to any like self-respecting man out there, any guy who wants to have a healthy relationship and has any self-respect for the most part. I was actually watching another video where a guy described like was talking about the same thing and kind of um described a similar thing I'm about to explain here, and he explained like yeah, like it's pretty disgusting for most men, even guys who are desperate. They don't really want that, but a lot of guys settle for these like ran through type of girls. So I'll explain now. Basically, like when I, by the way, this video is gonna be a little bit like not graphic, but I'm gonna talk about sex a bit here. So like, if you don't like hearing about this stuff, just click off. But like, basically, when like a girl has like had sex with multiple guys, let's say between 5 and 15, and let's say you're a guy and you know that, like you just know that for a fact. You've heard other guys say it, like you've heard other people and everything, and you just know it for a fact. Basically, what it's like is like you basically imagine like the other guys like come inside of her like pussy. Like you just imagine like other guys like sperm inside of her pussy, and like you almost imagine like if you were to have sex with her, like you would get other guys like the previous guy's germs like on your dick almost. Like that's almost how it feels like. That's almost how like you kind of imagine it. And it's weird. It doesn't make much sense to a lot of people, but like it does to a lot of guys. Like even though obviously the last time she'd had sex would have been a while ago, or like maybe even if it was a month ago or 6 months ago, and obviously she showers, obviously she'll shower and like clean herself and stuff. You still kind of imagine like, oh yeah, like she's had other guys' penises inside of her, like she's had other guys like come inside of her. So you kind of almost imagine like the germs of other guys are like still there, like still present in her. Like you just imagine it still being there. You know, it's a bit like if someone took like a chewing gum, they just chewed on it and then they stuck it underneath a table or like a bench or something, and then if you were to just pull it out and just like eat, like start chewing it on yourself, you think, oh yeah, like someone else has already had this. Like this is disgusting. Like why would I want this? But then if you imagine like, you know, 8 other guys, 10 other guys, you think, oh, like 10 people had this like one chewing gum, and I'm supposed to like just have it as if it's like a normal thing. Like you can't imagine it in like a normal way. You can't imagine doing that in a normal way. Like you can't possibly just like think, oh yeah, this is completely normal. Like there's nothing wrong with this. This is fine. Like unless you're just completely gone into that headspace or that thought process where you're like, oh yeah, like you don't care. You've given up on trying to get like a good girl. Like getting a girl at all um is like impressive for you. Like if you're at that point where you think even getting any girl, like regardless of whether she's ugly, like regardless whether she's a whore, regardless of anything that she has, like just getting one at all is like a miracle to you. You'll probably overlook all these things, and a lot of you will just become simps. You know, you'll simp for a girl who's a whore. You'll simp for a girl who's got a past. You'll just completely like just get into someone who's like had all those experiences, have like has a past and everything. And that's the thing. Is like that's why like that's where a lot of guys are at right now in their headspace, you know. But the guys who truly are attractive, I feel like they never have to settle for that. They just never have to give in to that. They never have to settle for like a girl who's like already ran through or just like is obviously like a whore, dresses like a whore, has that lifestyle. Like they're kind of done with those. Those girls are either those guys scraps or like they were so early to get those type of girls that like it was literally when they're like really young. It was basically ages ago, like years ago, and they've just been there, done that type of thing. Then I'm moving on to like more like proper classier type of girls, and not just like, you know, the ones that are whores now. So that's the thing. So it basically is that. It just is disgusting to kind of have to deal with that. And it's a bit like how Clav said it, like, you know, if a girl had a certain amount of bodies, yeah, he might have sex with her, yeah, he might, like, make out with her, like, have sex with her, but he's not gonna, like, see her as, like, a legitimate option. He's not gonna see her as, like, a legitimate girlfriend or, like, a girl that he's gonna stay with or, like, anything long term. Like, those type of girls, they're always in this gray area. Yeah, they have a place maybe for having fun with and all this stuff, but they're not girls that are, like, legitimate, you know, girlfriends long term. Like, no one really wants that, and it's actually quite embarrassing. Like, it's just quite embarrassing to be quite frank. But that's the thing. Even for, like, people who have, like, low standards, they still kind of find it disgusting. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, what I just said, like, those type of girls are always in this gray area. Like, yeah, there'll always be guys who want them. There'll always be someone who wants them. But I find that the guys that want them, those are the guys that those girls don't want. Like, the guys that want them aren't the guys that the girls want. So they're unwanted by the guys that they like, because the guys that they like have moved on and found someone better, found some better girls. And the guys that want them are guys that they find unattractive. Maybe they think, oh, that guy's like a 4 out of 10. Maybe that guy's like a 4 to them, a 6, you know, maybe a 7 out of 10. Like, and they want like an 8, 9, 10 out of 10 looking guy who's like tall and attractive and everything. But all those guys are gone, you know. So these whores, like, they sit in this gray area where, like, they can get like good looking guys, but they can only get them for a certain amount of time until the luck runs out. Either, like, people see right through them and can just tell they're a whore, which a lot of time you can just see for yourself. It's usually quite obvious when you just look at a lot of these girls' Instagrams. You can just see the lifestyle and just see, like, what it is. Or, like, what will happen is the guy will think that she is a good girl. The guy will think she is, like, a loyal, you know, good girl, like, not a whore. But then after those months pass, like, he'll see that she is not it. Like, she's just not it. She's not someone you want to keep around. She's not a potential, like, long-term girlfriend or anything. And she might do something like still talk to other guys or still talk to the guy friends that she's had before, and, like, you know, just basically just show signs that she is, like, a whore, and just, like, she'll be disloyal. Like, these girls are incapable of, like, having a long-term relationship. And you'll notice the same pattern with all of them. They do the same thing, you know, they get with a guy 4 months, and then they break up, and then they'll talk to some other guys, and they'll always be in a whore phase. They'll always be in the, sorry, there's a fly there. They'll always be in this, like, whore phase where, like, the whole life, just with a guy for 4 months, break up, you know, whore around for a bit, and then just get with another guy, and then just rinse and repeat. And, like, they'll always have this thing. They'll never be, like, in a proper relationship. And I feel like these type of girls, like, the only time they're gonna have, like, an actual child or anything like that is, like, by mistake. It's like, yeah, they accidentally get pregnant, then they get a kid. But the guy, if he could have chosen not to do that, he definitely would have chosen not to impregnate her. It so happened to have happened, so now they're stuck. Now he's stuck. But these girls are unwanted, even, like, by unattractive guys. Unattractive guys don't want that either. The thing is, if you had, like, any option, not like all the options in the world, but if you had, like, a decent amount of options, you're not choosing the whore. Like, you're choosing, like, the low body count girl or virgin girlfriend, if you can. Like, if you could actually choose and have a decent amount of choice in your life, you're not choosing, like, that girl with, like, 10 bodies or whatever. You're just not choosing that at all. Because, yeah, just like I said, no, like, deep down, no one really wants that, you know. And that's the thing. Is, like, it's kind of a shame, because a lot of these girls are given, like, they're born with good looks. They're born good looking. They're born, like, you know, with a good face, with a good physique, and, like, they don't have bad looks. But then they just completely threw it away. They completely threw that away. They completely threw their potential away, their life away. They basically, like, ruin their own life and throw away their life, and they just give in to this whore culture, and, like, this they just give in to degeneracy. Like, they have all the choice in the world, they have all the options in the world. They just give in to degeneracy. They just give in to like being that type of person. And I'll never really understand that. Like, I'll never understand I'll never understand choosing the most low hanging fruit when you have all the options. I'll never really understand that. And I don't have any sympathy for them. Like, you can't expect people to sympathize for you when you had more options than they ever had in their whole life. Because these girls do, like, they have more options than like even some of the most attractive guys. But they literally choose the most low hanging fruit there is. Like, it's insane. It's insane, and I'll never get that. You know, I just never will. But that's the thing, because like when I see a lot of guys these days with attractive girls, I don't really get like that jealous, because I know like those girls have like already been with other guys. They've already been ran through. They've already had like their past. They've already had their story to tell. You know, all the best moments, memories. You know, the first time they've got with a guy, their first boyfriends. They've just done all that already, and these guys are literally like just taking the scraps of other guys, like quite literally just taking the scraps of other guys, and they're just having to accept it because they have nothing really. They have nothing else. They have no other option. Yeah, they have no other option but to do that. So they're really at a loss. They're really like at a loss for like a lot of their life. And this is what I was talking about in like the other video, why young love is like so important and so like underrated. Is like once that is gone, you can never get it back. You know, once a girl's lost her virginity, you can never get it back. You know, once there's this flies fucking annoying me. Yeah, once they've done that, they can never get it back, and like you can never have the hope of like being with that girl, and they'll always have that like imprint in their head, like of these other guys. Like, they always have like the memories of like their past boyfriends. They always have the experiences. They always compare the new guys to the old, and they can never really just like view like someone new as their boyfriend. They can never just like get a new boyfriend and just view that guy as like their whole boyfriend and just like be together forever. You know, they can't really view it that way, because like, you know, it's just like the mind has already got the imprint of someone else. The mind has already been imprinted with someone else in their head, and I think there's always someone who like they can never forget. There's always someone they can never get out of their head. Like, once they've been in bed together, once they've gone on dates, once they've had those experiences, like they can never get that out of their head. And the only reason they're not with them is because those guys like broke up with them usually. Like, those guys had options, they had self-respect, and they got those they got rid of those hoes. Straight up, they just got rid of those hoes and had so much self-respect, and they had the ability to respect themselves. So what I mean is, like, since so many guys have like no options at all, like zero options, like they can't get any with anyone, they lose self-respect because they're kind of at the mercy of these girls. Like, they don't have like the option to just be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm not gonna talk to this girl because I've got this other one, or like I'm gonna break up with this girl because she's disrespecting me, or like anything like that. And the reason is because like, if they were to break up with that one girl that likes them, even if she's like almost cheating or something, not cheating, but like even if she's being like a whore or something like that, like they won't break up with her because they have no other options. If they break up with her, they're done. Like, they have nothing left. They have no other girl waiting for them. There's no one else that likes them. They live in a small town. There's not many people there. There's just not that many options out there, or none. There's no options for them. So they're basically, if they were to break up with that girl, it's just them basically saying to themselves like, yeah, I'm gonna have to be single for like 2 years or 3 years, and just having to accept that. Do you know what I mean? So for them, like, losing a girl, even if she's like disrespectful, even if she's like kind of a red flag or whatever, like, they're just willing to put up with it because to them, they cannot afford to even like have that level of self-respect the way a Chad does. Like, a Chad has options. A Chad can do that. A Chad can just be like, okay, forget that girl, just go for the next one, just go for a different one, just pick and choose, you know, just like do stuff like that. They can have that self-respect and that like that mindset where like they're just not going to allow any of that nonsense in their life. They're not going to allow any of that like bullshit in their life. They're going to just be kind of cutthroat, and those women will feel that like cutthroat nature of like, yeah, if you're going to be like this way, I'm going to like remove you. I'm just going to get with someone else. Do you know what I mean? So like the tables are kind of turned in that scenario. Now it's like the girls that feel the scarcity and feel like, oh, they can't lose this guy because they don't have, well, they always have options, but they won't have the same level of guy that they have in that moment. They won't have the same options as this guy. They'll just have like these other guys they have to settle for, and just like, you know, the ones that they don't really care about, they don't really like, and all this. But yeah, like getting back to the point of the video, just like for any guy out there, it's just disgusting. And if a girl is actually a whore, and the people that settle for them, they're either not good looking, or they're not good looking, they don't have options, or they're just settling, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, they're just settling, or they're in this gray area where like they probably take that girl for like a certain amount of time, where they're kind of settling for that girl, because not settling, like, you know, you might have a good looking guy get with like a whore, but the thing is, like, he doesn't intend to be with her forever. He doesn't intend to be with that girl for like more than a month, you know what I mean? Like, some of these girls end up just becoming like seen in that way, get seen in that light, just get seen as like, you know, just get that label, and they can't get rid of it. Like, they will always have that, and that's just how it is for them, you know. And it's a bit like, it kind of reminds me of like that podcast where like Andrew Tate was on with like Bonnie Blue and like the other guy, and he was just saying like, yeah, most girls are whores anyway, but then she just like embracing it and just like accepting it and just being like, yeah, like not caring about how it looks like, just fully embracing it and just like showing that like to the world that she is a whore, and is just not caring, like, because, you know, a lot of girls try to hide that they're a whore, even though they're obviously not. But I feel like sometimes people respect like the porn stars, the whores, more than like the normal girls, because like they're just admitting it. They're actually just being honest and like upfront about it. They're not hiding it. And then that's why you have these guys who like these porn stars and like these sluts and whatever, because they're like, yeah, like she's not even remotely trying to hide it. She has an insane body count, and she just kind of embraced it. I sometimes feel like if a lot of these girls just did the same thing, it wouldn't make their life much worse. You know, it wouldn't even change their life that much. They'd basically be doing the exact same thing they're already doing, except, you know, maybe a bit of a higher frequency, and like then they're just making money of it, and then like now they're actually like doing something. Now they're making money of it. Now it's just a job, and they're just being upfront and honest, and now, you know, other people can see it. But, you know, that's probably not a good idea. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes I think it wouldn't change their life much if they just decided to just do porn or just, like, embrace it, because they've already done that, you know. But yeah, the guy that I originally watched, he gave me the idea for this video, is like, he was saying it's like, if you had a sandwich and, like, you took some other guy took a bite out of it, like, you wouldn't want to eat it either. You wouldn't want to take a bite out of it either. And then, like, if a bunch of other guys also, like, ate out of the same sandwich, just bit into the same sandwich, like, you wouldn't want to eat the same thing that some random other guys just, like, bit into. Like, you wouldn't want that. And it's kind of the same thing I had with, like, that's the same kind of, like, analogy I had with, like, the chewing gum analogy earlier in this video. Where I'm like, yeah, like, if some other guys, like, had, like, a chewing gum, like, just had a chewing gum in their mouth, like, chewed on it and, like, passed it around to, like, 8 other guys, you wouldn't want it either. Like, you would just think that's fucking gross. Like, I'd rather just not have that. And yeah, that's pretty much like what this video is in a nutshell, you know. That sums up this video in a nutshell. And the thing is, like, people often tell me, oh, well, a girl isn't an object. A girl isn't like chewing gum, or like a girl isn't a car with mileage. It's a human being. And like, I know what you mean, but the thing is, you're just like giving into like their how they want you to view them, which isn't really good. The thing is, like, they have no mercy for you. Like, if you think that you should have mercy for the girls and that you should forgive them, like, they don't have mercy for you. They don't care if they're cutthroat as fuck. They're like brutal as fuck. They're ruthless, and they're probably more ruthless than most of you. Like, most of you guys out there, these girls are more ruthless than you. Trust me. And if you're short, they will like disrespect you for it. If you're ugly, they'll be disrespecting you for it subconsciously. Like, they will disrespect you just for the way you look. So I don't think it's like that bad of a thing to like just disrespect a girl for being a fucking whore. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should be cut through. You should be like, oh yeah, that girl's got too much mileage. Like, she can go fuck herself. Like, you should be cut through as well. And you should be like pretty brutal. Like, you shouldn't be like all forgiving and like, disrespecting yourself and allowing this shit to happen and just being like, oh yeah, like maybe she had made a mistake, or like, people don't make a mistake like that many times. People don't make the same mistake 5 times without it being on purpose. Like, oh yeah, she just mistakenly let a guy have sex with her. She just mistakenly let a guy put his whole penis inside of her and just fucked her. Yeah, that was just a mistake. That was just a fluke. That was just when she was young. That doesn't mean anything. Like, no, we should be holding these women accountable and being way more brutal, way more cutthroat than like some of these guys are laying on or letting happen to them. Like, there's so many good examples of this out there, and the thing is that this is happening so often. It's happening on like a pretty common frequency, but it's just not being called out as much because it's happening in people's personal lives where, like, obviously they're not going to reveal that to other people. They're not going to tell other people. It's just going to be something to keep on the low. Like, if you look at like the Logan Paul situation with his girlfriend, his fiance, like, people were just trolling him about it. People were clowning on him. They were like showing all the guys she'd been with, like all the stuff she said about, the guys she'd been with, and all the stuff all the sexual stuff she mentioned, and they're just like, clowning him and like just making fun of him. Like, it was like a humiliation ritual for him. It was humiliating. It was humiliating that the girl he's trying to marry is like literally a whore. Like, it's embarrassing, and she wasn't a bad looking woman, but like, I think a lot of self-respecting guys would rather get with a girl who's like 2 points below. Like, if a girl's like a 10 out of 10, they would rather get with a girl who's like an 8 out of 10. That's like not a whore, than someone that's like a 10 out of 10 that like is a whore. You know what I mean? Because like, first of all, it doesn't change that much in the relationship for the guy often, and also it's like I just say, it's self-respect. Like, you'll be seen as like a simp if you go for these type of girls. You'll be seen as like a simp. You'll be seen as like kind of like you'll be seen as like having a lack of respect for yourself. You'll be seen as a simp, and the whole thing is just humiliating. Like, no one wants to walk down the street with a girlfriend and they like, I don't know, they walk past a construction site, the builder says, oh, I shagged that girl. Or they walk past Starbucks, the barista's like, oh yeah, I had sex with that girl. Go into the cinema, the workers thinking, oh, I had sex with her as well. Like, no guy wants to think that. No guy wants to have that thought process or have to think like that. It's just completely embarrassing and completely like humiliating. I feel like that in itself is a humiliation ritual. That's why these girls, they always remain like bops, as they say. They always remain as bops. They're a bop. They're there for maybe a fun time, but they're not there for the long run. And that's why I say, like, just a couple of generations ago, just 1 or 2 generations ago, this shit was crazy. This shit was like seen as like completely absurd, and I know a lot of people go on about it, but it really is like insane when you look back to like the 1950s generation, like the World War II type of generation. Like, this shit that we're seeing today it just did not exist. Like, it just straight up did not exist. And the way like men like simp for women, the way they stand up for women is like so embarrassing, because back in the day people would say things like, oh, like men would like hold women up to like such a high standard, and they would have these terms for women like, oh yeah, you should always respect the woman, and just like basically put her on a pedestal, and like just treat her like she's some amazing like angel. And like, yeah, back in the day when they had like a zero body count, like they were fresh, they weren't like horrible, they weren't disrespectful. I could kind of understand like why men used to think like they were like women were like these angel beings, like these like magnificent angel beings, like should be treated with care and all this. But like these are not the same women. Like these are not remotely the same. Like they do not deserve the same level of respect of the woman your grandparents got with, or like those previous generations that like literally were able to get with a woman who's like a complete virgin, or like yeah, just completely a virgin, gentle, soft, like nice kind of woman, self-respecting, just that traditional woman, that traditional 1950s woman, like in the game like Fallout, how you have that traditional like nuclear household, that type of thing. Like those women deserve respect. Those women actually did deserve, the flowers they got. They actually deserved respect. They deserved having that life, because they saved themselves for those guys. They had respect for themselves and for the guy, like, and their family. They actually did deserve to have a good life. But the women that are of today, they are not even like women. They are not even real people. Like, bro, like they're not real people. They're not real women, and they just happen to be there. They're not the same level. They're not like remotely the same. They're just like disgusting, like just whores. Straight up they are. Like, we have to be honest about this. We have to be upfront about this. And even in like GTA 6, in the first trailer, like when you seen like that woman on the car, like that black woman on the car, and she's like twerking on the car and some shit, like why is that like fucking normalized? Like, why is stuff like that just normalized and seen as normal? Like, it just shows how kind of integrated into society it's becoming, like how normalized stuff like that has become, like the sexualization of women, like just casualization of sex, and all this it's just been integrated into society, and like films, video games, and just the degenerate culture that exists today. It's insane. It really is. And yeah, like it's tough for guys out there who are unattractive, because they don't even have the choice to find a woman like this. They don't even have the choice to find like, these type of self-respecting women. They have to settle. It's either like settle or just have no one, which means you can't even like satisfy your own fucking biological needs. So it's just rough out. It's just rough out there, and it's insane. And I get why people are just quitting. I get why people are just opting out this type of life, because it is tough. It's fucked up. It's pretty dystopian. It's pretty dystopian, and the thing is, you have to make like a real effort to get what you want now out of life. Like me and my friend, we realized you have to make a real effort and like have like a protocol for these things. Like have an actual like protocol, like what I'm gonna do for these scenarios, for this thing. Like, if this happens, what am I gonna do? Like, how do I tackle these events, these like unexpected events, unexpected scenarios? How do I actually deal with them? You need to think of like an actual protocol to deal with these things, and then like act on it. Like, actually act on it. Actually do what you're thinking of doing, and do what you said you were gonna do. Like, okay, if you want to move to another country to find, better women, better people, have a better relationship, think about it, get money, and actually do it. Don't just lie to yourself. And then, yeah, like if your goal is to just find a girl at church, just go to church, find a fucking virgin girlfriend. I recommend actually trying that and like actually doing it, or at least just thinking about that. At least thinking about that, at least having that thought in your head, or at least just go to church one day and just trying it out, just see how it is, just see how the place is for you. That's what I recommend. And yeah, like actually think about these things, because a lot of people talk shit and they talk in the hypotheticals, but they don't actually do anything. But if you're the type of guy that like acts on these things that you talk about and you think about, like how I'm doing, you're the type that are going to win. You're the type of guys that are going to win in life. So that's what I recommend for you. But I appreciate all of you for watching this long video, and just sitting with me, listening to this video, watching this video, and taking time out of your day. But that's mostly what I've got to say. I might make another video on like girls from the UK and like why the UK is shit. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've got to say. Anyway, Mysterious out.